Aloha, my friend. It's Dan McDonald here, and I'm with Doug Wolcon here at the Kauai Pharmacy.
Aloha.
Yeah, such a great opportunity to finally sit down and just talk story, you know? Our intention today is to provide you with information on how you can improve the quality of your life, and I'm going to use the buzzword of healing, basically, like on every level. So we'll take about 30 minutes here, and we're just going to go into our unique perspectives and experience. You have a real estate background. I was a construction worker / window cleaner, and we just, in order to help heal ourselves, we just found these other paths. I found the living foods, fruits and herbs, and Doug here used herbs to heal himself and his family and birth healthy children. So we're just going to talk about that today because it's on our heart. Doug is one of the kindest, gentlest, best examples of a real man, you know, and you have helped me without knowing it to up my game, to be a better father to my children, and to be a better man, and to have that integrity, you know, which has always been really important to me. But just the way you stand and the way everyone on this island thinks of you, you know, they're like Doug. They're like Doug. Everybody. Nobody has a bad word to say about Doug. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, I bet, bro.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, that's for sure. We got the place like 5 years ago, moved to Kauai 8-9 years ago now. And as you said, I came from a background of actually real estate finance. I was spending a lot of time on airplanes and buying property for big endowments and pension funds and all these large institutions. So we were buying big office buildings, and the lifestyle was such that I was doing a lot of steak and wine dinners in my 20s, and kind of getting thicker around the neck and thicker around the waist, and still looking in the mirror, you know, like still had it, but slowly but surely, certainly when I had my first boy, which he is now 8.5, it kicked in. I had definitely lost a few steps, to say the least.
Pep in your step.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, back pain, neck pain, like surf a little bit, ow. Like there was always constant injuries, like just whenever I tried to keep up with him, really. And he was only 3 at the time, and I had another baby on the way, and I was certainly, you know, still eating late night and but trying, you know, still believing I was the athlete I was in high school, but still eating late night and having beers and whatnot in my 20s, and then when I got here, the herbs kind of helped me so much tune into my truth. And when you alkaline your body, that's kind of what happens, right? Is your truth comes out, and you can't hide from it anymore with the acids and numbing yourself with the acids. You know, the acids being the truth in the diet. The acids are dairy, gluten, meat. Those are the acids in the diet, and a lot of times
Additives.
like additives, the sugar additives,
Genetically modified stuff. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm gonna take a second and put the wind cover on the mic, bro. Excuse me, folks. Oh, well, okay. The wind cover must be at home. So bear with us on the wind here. Hopefully it stays kind of chill. But anyways, I like the moving into the alkalinity aspect of it, because that's like just a real basic principle that I'd like for people to be able to wrap their head around, because really that means a combination of hydration and mineralization. Because if you have the water, like say you've got like sugar water does not conduct electricity, but if you put salt, which is minerals, then you can conduct that electricity. So that's why when we get alkaline, we can expand in our consciousness, because we are more open, and that energy can move through us. But when the acids take over in the blood and the tissues and the lymph, there's more constriction, and so the energy doesn't flow as much. So as we're alkalinizing with the herbs or with the juices, with the water, and with the mind state, there's an alkaline mind state, which is more of the equanimity of the brain, which of course meditation being a lifestyle, you can do walking meditation or just garden meditation or it's, you know, traditional, but that brings the left and the right hemispheres, and that brings an ease, because the dis-ease is the contraction, the constriction, creating acidity in the blood. Like stress creates acidity, so you can't heal. A lot of people will be writing to me, I can't heal because, you know, they have this job and they have 3 kids and there's a lot of stress. So our intention was to talk about not so much about the specifics of diet and lifestyle, although that's important, but just lifestyle itself, like as much as we can cram into a 30-minute video as possible. And so I'm sure with your lifestyle, with the eating the meat and doing the luncheons and flying around and late nights and the stress of dealing with people that's millions of dollars on the line, it caught up to you with that tightness.
Yeah, and on the phone, so the technology, right? That's sometimes got some acidic nature to it, and I mean, staying up late also causing that same thing where you get tired, wake up stressed. A calming of digestion, and what happens first, right, on your lifestyle. So what is the impetus? What's causing? A lot of times it can be just some late nights, and then that rolls into some bad food choices
To stimulate.
right?
Right.
And then you don't know where it's coming from or where it's ending, but you're in this cycle, this never-ending cycle. That's one of the other things that, you know, why the herbs spoke to me is they kind of intercepted that. Back on the mainland, or I had a big medicine cabinet filled with all these natural tinctures and whatnot, but nothing was quite penetrating the cycle that I was in. And when I tried this, it was the consciousness of these plants that allowed me, because it's whole plant medicine, just like you talk about the living foods, right? What's so great about the living foods, right? The cacao, the living foods.
What about the star fruit?
The star fruit here.
Wow.
It comes with it. It's people talk about, oh, is it vitamin D or vitamin E? Well, it's got all the vitamins and minerals. It doesn't pick and choose out of the ground. It grabs everything. It's just what we can trace, right? What science can trace. So it's the whole plant. It's the whole fruit, and that comes with it more than just vitamins and minerals, but it comes with it a consciousness.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent. That's why. And then I think from my perspective on the living foods, the raw foods, when you apply heat, you just alter the chemistry, you alter the physics. I mean, any scientist would be able to tell you that. And a lot of the beneficial delivery mechanisms of the consciousness, which will calibrate you to the earth, to the land, to your local environment, is destroyed. So that can lead to, in my opinion, a disharmony with the environment, which is the beginning of, because what I've noticed in my own experience is that people are like, you're a weird guy, you don't wear a shirt, you don't wear shoes, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm the one who's right, because I'm always constantly being more and more harmonized. I choose this as a lifestyle, but as I get more and more into this Kauai lifestyle, barefoot, eating my own food off the land, and mellowing out and getting to bed on time and mitigating stress and breathing fresh air, I've noticed that I'm continuing to see more and more of the social hypnosis coming from, just an economically based society which wants you on the 9 to 5, which wants you consuming these things which aren't necessarily very good for you. In fact, that's, you don't see advertisements for spinach. You don't see advertisements for watermelons. I mean, you do see, the one thing I think I've seen is avocados, California avocados.
Popeye?
But I mean, and for, it's like Pepsi, and you're like, okay, or beer, or you'll get 2 hot girls, if you drink this beer, and it's like, so we get programmed to do things within our society that are not beneficial. And then when we try to really start looking through all that, through the social hypnosis of consumerism, looking for real information to transform, that's when I think we start to, get aligned and harmonized with nature, with the laws of nature.
So we spoke last week, and I think one of the things that prompted this video was the concept of having these herbs, these cured herbs, sitting on your shelf at home or with you at work, being able to integrate them into your lifestyle. Right? It was this idea that you were drinking the tea at work, or you were drinking the tea at home, and all of a sudden there's that interception of that cycle, and things that you can do in your life, whether they be, doing ankle stretches or wrist stretches in front of the computer, the little things. I know so often it's so hard to, I want to put it on your shorts.
Maybe. I'm just thinking of the sound here, folks. I usually have my little wind blocker.
The little things that
Maybe
we
down
can
here.
do that lead to large things. Like along the path, you're not necessarily sure that you're getting anywhere, but it's the little baby steps, and then eventually there's a big opening. And a lot of the times when you're drinking the tea, you're not really sure, the herbs, you're not really sure what they're doing or how they're getting you somewhere, but slowly but surely you're taking these little steps and your awareness is creeping up, and as the awareness goes up, you're able to make great strides from
Eating
little baby
plants
steps.
and drinking plants and using herbs, calibrates your consciousness. It gives you information. Like when you're eating those foods that are 5 miles processed away from where they were originally, you're not able to really, get that information. It's so denatured and destructured. This is like right off the tree. And so that information is going into your mouth, and that's where it starts, and then it goes into your stomach, and then there's microorganisms that break it down, and then they go, oh, this is cool, and then they know what to do. And then that water is what delivers the minerals and the consciousness. And that's what I love about the teas. And that was the download I had real recently, was that I use distilled water, but distilled water is kind of dead water. It's got no consciousness in it. But if you take that distilled water, which is pure, meaning no fluoride, no chlorine, none of the mountains and mountains of the other dude's pharmaceutical drugs, as well as the chemtrails and everything else, once you distill it, then you take these herbs or some herbs or a piece of fruit even, or you can even use music, anything that you do to restructure the information in that water, that's what you're going to become. That's one of the benefits of raw living foods like this. This star fruit is going to be a star fruit inside your cells. It's going to deliver that information, and if it was cooked, all the water would be gone and it wouldn't deliver that information as cleanly. And so using the distilled water and the herbs are really just like allowing this information and energy from this land, from the plant here, which is the tulsi, which has been used in India for thousands of years. So you're getting a lot of information. And so what information via plants or via computer or via your relationships or via your job, what is your environment and what are you consuming mentally, emotionally, and physically through your mouth? And the mouth is one of the places where you have the most amount of control. Now the parasites, they can try to control your mind, but you can get control of that and clean your stomach out and get rid of all those microorganisms that are causing those cravings. Because one decision, if you do it today, your body is going to want to do it tomorrow. And so that's for good or ill. If you drink the green juice today or you drink the herbal tea today, your body's going to be like, I could dig that. It's going to want that again tomorrow, and you build those healthy lifestyle habits. It's a lifestyle thing. That's kind of your thing that you've rubbed off onto me. Lifestyle.
Because I did the fasts and the green drink fasts, and they were great and they led me along a path, but I couldn't integrate them into my lifestyle. That was what I was challenged with. They didn't teach me necessarily how to prepare meals or how to go shopping or how to, it was just someone just giving me drinks, and I wasn't able
at the
to.
juice bar.
Yeah, at the juice bar, and it was just seemed cumbersome to shop for green drinks and all that. So anyway, the teas seemed simpler, but regardless of your choice, I mean, all fruits and vegetables I strongly,
and herbs,
I strongly recommend. And one thing that it made me think of when you were just talking was this concept of I had this medicine cabinet filled with all these tinctures and supplements and powders, and when I found these herbs growing here on Kauai and I was making teas, I kind of tossed my whole thing out. I have a local propolis that I still use, but that's pretty much it. And otherwise I just keep up with this, and you talked about the information that these plants offer, and that was really why I got rid of it, because all this other stuff didn't have any information to it, like the supplements, and there was no whole plant to it. And when I tried these different plants, I felt like I was gaining an awareness, so that I could make the changes in my lifestyle, because this is giving you that base of alkalinity, as is your diet. But then you got to go out and address your relationships. You got to go out and address your financial situation. You got to address some of the, I guess, issues or things that we're all in and have going on, and those cause stresses because of our past and the decisions we've made. So how do we do that? Well, the more alkaline our body is, the more calm our digestive system is, the more aware we are of every right turn, every left turn, every fork in the road, the more aware we are of who we are in that moment. If we're tired, do we go and grab coffee with some white sugar, or do we go find a place to rest? Which one do we choose?
That's basically it.
Those basic decisions are what create those cycles. If we go grab the white sugar and the coffee, that cycle just magnifies, right? And then we go hit the relationship, and that relationship blows up, and then it just continues down next day, next day, next day. Where if we choose to rest, drink some water, maybe have some tea or fruit, and then shift paths, your awareness is just slowly but surely starting to help you. And everyone has it internally inside them. The herbs making them alkaline, and the fruits and vegetables creating the alkalinity, is what makes you the best you can be, and brings you back to your youth, and brings you back to using your Dantian, which is your instinctual being, your basically your root chakra, your lowest your center, and you don't think but rather act. There's no thinking in that kind of lifestyle. There's only actions, and those actions are all from a place of alkalinity. And this is what help the information. This is where you're getting the information, right, from all these different plants. All these different vitamins and minerals. I don't necessarily believe in the extraction of this vitamin and this mineral, and I don't believe in the extraction of organs. I don't believe in any. I don't think an organ can be taken out of a body and the body can survive. I believe in healing the organs internally. Synergy, yeah, and addressing addressing it, not suppressing it, but addressing your situation with the herbs, with fruits and vegetables,
with lifestyle, other ones that are even more important, like our minds can be like you can use your mind to listen to this information and get a few nuggets, but the mind, and that can be a really good thing, like, oh, I should drink some of this tea and get hydrated. But then the mind can also be, depending on the programming and the upbringing and the cultural conditioning, it can also be your worst enemy as well. So what you were talking about, and where the direction I'm moving more in, is less thinking and more feeling in each moment. So it requires, again, we come back to the awareness and the importance of just staying awake and being present, instead of going, turning off and going into the unconscious and just going back into more of a beta or an alpha state of mind, doing our best to practice meditation, practice being more aware and more awake and paying attention, like, what is my body feeling right now? Should I eat this cheeseburger, or is there something else that might be more beneficial, since I know I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm trying to wake up and be more clear, or I'm trying to make more money, or be a better person, or have more energy, or whatever it is that you would like to have coming from your heart. But then you've got your mind sometimes in negative conditioning, like, I got to do this, I have this job, it's like I get my pension, I'm almost there, or by that time it might be a little too late, but some people are just stuck in these jobs because they think they don't have faith in themselves, that this universe, if you have the faith to move forward, like if you're loving yourself and you want to make a change in your life, this universe will support you, But a lot of times we do get stuck in the mind, and we don't have the courage to make that leap of faith and get out of that crappy relationship. Have the faith to be like, I can make it on my own. Like if you're a woman or something, a lot of times they just go from relationship to relationship and don't take the time to get to know themselves. So they're always with some guy that doesn't have their best interests. That's one small example of the myriad of things that we can do to get ourselves into an acidic, contracted, stressful, less than the best, most divine environment for ourselves. So we have to decide, like, we deserve the best. I love myself. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to improve my life. I'm going to heal from this dis-ease, which is the lack of ease, which is some kind of the programming or the habitual lifestyle choices that are hard on the body, that are less hydrating, that are more dehydrating, that have the chemical-laden food just because it tastes good for social reasons. I just made a video yesterday. You go to church and they drink coffee and donuts, and it's like, at church, that's your temple. You're going to the temple. You should be caring for this temple as well. And just at church, they should have carrot sticks and broccoli with a nice raw dip, but it's not like that. So you have to be responsible and be aware and awaken yourself and forget about everyone around you if they're all going downwards on the downward spiral because they don't want to be responsible. But I'll tell you that you want to have a better life. Like, I started a long time ago, but 16 years officially on the living foods, and my life today is super pono beyond belief. But I had to have faith 16 years ago that I would end up in this place. If I would have gave up, oh, screw it, I'm just going to go back to whatever, womanizing or drinking or drugs or this cooked food, and gave up on that hard work, that hard inner work, I would not be where I'm at. So it's like 16 years. It's like, for you young folks or anybody, think ahead. I mean, you might make it, there might be one more day left on the planet, but you might be here for another 30, 40, 50 years, and the decisions you make today are going to create a trajectory, and you'll end up like I am, in a blessed place because I stayed with integrity. I stayed with the laws as I saw them of nature and consciousness and divinity, and now I have a really, really blessed life. And I want to share whatever I can for you to have a blessed life, so we're all living in paradise on earth with cacao trees everywhere and star fruit and oranges and coconuts and that spinach which makes delicious wraps and all this tulsi which is holy basil, 50 different kinds, and even these crazy ass chickens, which Kauai is known for.
So, a couple of things you just said that just really resonated with me. One is just, the choices we make, and every single thing that we eat, it manifests in our body, and it's actually, a lot of times it can numb your body, but then it goes out and finds more of the same to make a home for it. So if you're eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, it's going to go on and make a palace out of your body. Versus, if you're eating chips, those chips are going to go out and find more chips. I mean, they say you can't eat just one chip. Well, there's a reason for it. It's like a river that gets polluted. It's hard to get the pollution out. The pollution just keeps finding it, because it becomes stagnant, that river. Yeah. And that river becomes, an attraction for more pollution and sickness. And so the same thing goes with those decisions you make every day as to what you're putting in your body. And you must get it. Here, live a little bit, eat this,
every day.
Or drink this, live a little bit. And what happens is you live a little bit, but you don't realize that it's actually that's going to take over your next decision. It's going to make the decision for you.
Exactly.
And it's chemical in nature. Like we talked about acid, alkaline. Well, once your body goes acid, it's thriving to go find more acids, just like that river. It's become stagnant, and it goes out, and it's not you, because you would never, with your conscious self, go out and put that chip in your mouth, because it doesn't benefit your being or your
higher
present.
self wouldn't do that.
Wouldn't do that. So you're now, but it's okay, it happens. But now you're in a space of that chip, it's running the show, and it's going out to try and create what we today refer to eventually as, more chips become tumors and cancers and what's a cancer made out of? Pure acid, right? A cancer is pure acid. There is no alkalinity in a cancer cell. or in a tumor. Right? It's just pure
Meaning
acid.
the oxygen can't get to those tissues.
Can't get to it.
Alkalinity equals oxygenation.
So these herbs and fruits and vegetables, they break down those acids, they break down those cancers. So that was one thing I was going to mention. Those choices, each choice is critical, and not to be stressful about it, but
Just to understand, that
yeah.
that's how it works. Your mind makes the world. That's the most important thing, because I have a saying, and this is what I've learned. If you give it an inch, meaning like your ego or what your cravings, it's going to take a mile. And you're like, oh, just this once. That's why I don't have a cheat day. I'm impeccability. I'm 100% in it to win it every single day. It's drove a lot of people nuts. But, some people would get mad. You won't let me feed you this big pile of stuff. And it's like, even if it's raw, but it's like, well, how many 4 different kinds of nuts and every spice? And then tomorrow my senses are going to want that again. So I have learned over the years with my type of nervous system. And so I'm thinking with a sensitive one, it's going to be more subtle. For others, maybe like, oh, I don't get addicted, but subtly you might be more addicted. But for me, it's like obvious and blatant. It's like if you eat that big salty nutty pile of even raw food, you're going to want that again the next day. So I just stay dialed in. And people are like, you're so disciplined. And I'm like, it's not discipline. It's just like, it's just wisdom. It's like, okay, I've done that 47 times and I know exactly what's going to happen. And so pretty soon it's just really intelligence and it's wisdom. And then it's like, I'm going to stay hydrated. I'm going to drink my juice. I'm going to eat my mono fruits. I'm going to use I have quite a bit of alchemy myself, that I use different herbs, and I use some supplements and stuff too, but it's all with a high level of awareness of what that's doing for me. So that's very important. Impeccability in your choices, like every second, every choice leads either to you because there's no stagnant. I learned it from Dr. Hawkins, and I've just observed it for the last 10 years. There's no stagnant. It's either you're up, alkaline, expanding into your best self, or you're contracting, acid, degenerating. There's no staying still in this domain on Earth, and so it's like I'm on the up and up because I've always wanted to have what I have now, which is a great relationship. My kids are healthy. My relationship with them is good. There's abundance for them to get school clothes, and they have a nicer home now. And I made these decisions, but the main thing for me was always health. Health first, then money. And I did that, and that's how I do it. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm really stabilized in my health. I still have room to grow. And like we were talking before we started the video, it's like we're still healing from a lifetime of, sugared cereals and stress and all the different things that we went through in our society. The list is innumerable. But it's like you can get your life going, but each decision is very, very important.
And taking responsibility, right? That's a big thing.
Instead of being a victim?
Yeah, taking responsibility for yourself, and then taking responsibility everything, all your relationships, that's your responsibility, and all your the foods that you eat, the kitchen that you clean, those are all responsibilities, and how you want to take those on. Do you want those to thrive, those responsibilities? Do you want to take more on? Do you want to make more, or do you want to, and keeping them simple. But the point being is that, as you mentioned, your kids and your health, and those are all your responsibilities. And if, for me, I have 3 children and a farm, and I know that if I shift outside of kind of staying laser, all those responsibilities, I just start to crumble all at once. Kids are walking all over me, and
right.
This farm, the energy of the farm is off, and it's the little nuance, it's the small subtleties, right? You mentioned subtleties. That's really what you find, and that's one of the reasons we have 70 plants here, 70 herbs here, are to tap into those subtleties of awareness, right? Because the more subtleties that you can tap into, the more you can pick up on what the environment's always trying to tell you. there's always signs of everything. Everything's a a trade-off, and there's always signs of what Mother Nature's trying to tell you wherever you are, whether you're in an urban environment or here, and picking up on those signs, not playing the victim, but again, taking responsibility for your life and addressing it, not suppressing it, right? Not suppressing it with pharmaceuticals, not suppressing it with acid foods, staying up too late. Those things are just suppression. And I have my own experiences. I only speak from experience. I've been humbled to no end, especially on this farm. So, any case, the point I'm trying to make is just making the most of those responsibilities. I think it's, for me, it's been a humbling experience.
You are responsible for where you're at in life.
Yeah.
I get these people that say, "Oh, but the government did this and my grandma did that," and it's like, okay, that's okay, all that's that, but now what are you going to do? And now what choices are you going to make today? Oh, I'm broke and I can't afford to do this, so I just give up. It's like, if you get on it, the universe will support you. That's one thing. We went over some really important stuff today. The key here, again, I think we touched on it from beginning to end, is awareness. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a million different diets and there's a lot of different philosophies, but at the end of the day, it's like, if we really want to grow and thrive, we have to be awake. So that's an interesting kind of a, that's just it. Just pay attention, be awake, and be present. And that's what we could leave you with, because that inner presence is going to guide you, because the divine intelligence that is within you, is within this universe, is within these plants. That's what we're trying to fall back into. Less mind, more feeling and guidance, and we will be guided. Then the signals of the deep soul energy will go into the mind. You'll develop a relationship with your intuition, and then you'll know exactly, you'll get smarter and clearer and brighter on what it is you need in every moment. We're out of time. Wrap it up, 30 seconds.
I'm good. Aloha. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Word.
Yeah, we're doing our best to just throw you as much information as possible, and hopefully we're helping.
Cool. Let me close this out. What would be really cool is if you really like what Doug had to say here today, you can sign up for their email. I'll put a link down below. You get a bunch of free information. Doug's a writer about herbs, and you'll also get discounts on the herbs here at the Kauai Pharmacy, which are highly medicinal, and I recommend them very highly with all my heart. So we are out of time for today. Thank you so much for your presence. It means so much. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you again soon.
Aloha.
Aloha.